Hi everyone. It's Monday afternoon. I know it's a crazy time to be doing a live, but as promised, I'm back and we have a couple of coaching moments for this week. I told you late last week that we were going to focus on the negative mindset that we all play in our own head when we're not progressing as quickly as we want to, or maybe you had a day off plan, maybe yesterday was off plan. So there's one really, really, really big mindset thing I want to talk to you about. And I put it as the title of this video. So if you've seen those two words, it's two of the same words, and it's delete, delete. Now, I know this will sound crazy, but I have personally been practicing this over the last month. As you guys know, pretty much for a little over 3.5 weeks, we were traveling. We were in California, then traveling home for about, maybe 5 or 6 days. And then I was up in Virginia for a week. So to be very honest, my food for me personally has not been spot on. It hasn't been. I went to California with this attitude of this was a celebratory time. I wanted to go out to California and not be a food Nazi. And I wanted to focus on making memories with my 3 children, and really celebrating my son and the big accomplishments that he had done. Well then, so we started our drive home. We never stopped to sleep. We just kept going. And it was also very interesting and somewhat creative finding food choices on the way home, driving from California to Florida. So then when we were in Florida for 5 or 6 days, I was completely on plan. And then Ian and I drove back up to Virginia. We got him furniture here, got furniture out of my garage that we'd been saving for him, drove him back up. And again, I was faced with, to be honest, taking a break from my plan. 100%. Being completely honest with you. I got back May 6th, last Wednesday, and Stephen's and my wedding anniversary was Friday, and just like you guys, Mother's Day was yesterday. So I would say in the last month, I've been on plan, to be fair, 30% of the time. 30% of the time. Boy, am I glad to be back. 100% on plan as of today. So maybe yesterday you were in the gray, and I am sure there had been times over the last 2 months, especially with COVID, that you guys have been in the gray for an extended period of time or flirting with the gray on the daily. Maybe you get to dinner and then everything goes out the window, right? So I've been doing a lot of reading on this one mindset, and I've been putting it into practice, especially the last week and a half. And it goes like this. Anytime you have a negative thought, the negative thought is in your head. You literally say out loud, delete, delete. So you're probably thinking, what the hell is she talking about? So some of the negative thoughts I've had about myself, as I clearly recognize right now I'm super fluffy. I'm carrying the fluffiness, the inflammation in areas that always drive me nuts. You guys know where I'm going here. In my legs, in my lower core. I hate it. Right now, I kind of don't like myself. Right now, I could easily go into this kitchen sink spiral, which I'm sure you guys have been there before, of Martha, you look fat, you're acting ridiculous, you're never going to feel good in your skin again. Come on, we've all had these same thoughts. Like you just go down this kitchen sink spiral, whether you've been off plan 1 day or half a day or maybe a week like I have been. You go down the same negative, ridiculous thought process. So every time I have had these negative thoughts, like, Martha, your legs are ugly. Martha, like, you are spinning out of control. Immediately I say to myself, delete, delete. Literally, I am teaching myself the neurotransmitters in my brain to delete the last negative thought. So this applies for some of you if you've been off plan for a really long while through all this COVID stuff. Or let's say this, you were a Be Martha Fit client, you went away, you gained weight back, now you're back on plan and you're thinking, why can't I get my act together? I suck. I can't stick to a plan. I can't do this by myself. All of those thoughts are lies. You have to literally say delete, delete. So today, tomorrow, the next day, I want you to focus on if a thought is going through your head, or maybe you were way off plan yesterday with Mother's Day and you're beating yourself up for it today. I literally want you to say delete, delete. Delete, delete. The next thing that you should say, if you're able to, is the truth. So right now, all day yesterday, all day today, I've been beating myself up. And let's be honest, we beat up ourselves so much more than we would like. We would never talk to our kids this way. You would never talk to your mother this way. You would never talk to your spouse this way. But we think it's okay to talk so horrifically to our own selves. Well, if you aren't going to talk to your child that way, or your spouse that way, or your mother that way, or your best friend that way, why would you ever allow yourself to talk to yourself that way? So all these moments yesterday and today when I've been seriously beating myself up, the very next, as soon as I say, oh my gosh, your legs are disgusting, I go delete, delete. Literally, I'm triggering my brain that that thought that I just had is not okay. Delete, delete. It's like a computer. I don't know if you guys ever follow, Ben Carson, huge world-renowned, phenomenal neurosurgeon, right? I remember, I still work for CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network, the 700 Club. I work at a very small capacity for them right now. They get any hours outside of Be Martha Fit that I give them, which is not much. When I worked there full time, Ben Carson was on the 700 Club at one point. And so I'm sitting in my office kind of monitoring the show, and I've always been fascinated with him, right? So I'm watching this, and I picked up this very fascinating piece of information. Literally, our brain is like a computer. Literally. Our brain can hold so much information, and it does hold so much information, more information than you can remember. More information than you can remember. So you're like, well, no, I don't remember that, therefore it's not in my brain. Yes, it is. It's actually still in your brain, but your brain's done this process of moving it because it's not that important or relevant right now to back on this back hard drive, right? So think about this. If you have a laptop or a desktop computer, you have, if you think about how it's laid out, here's your laptop, and you have all these icons, these shortcuts, right, on your desktop. Well, that doesn't mean that just because it's not an icon on the desktop that it's no longer on your computer, right? Maybe it's on, hard drive C or hard drive D or whatever that is for you. Maybe it's on an external drive. So just because that icon's not on your desktop doesn't mean that the information doesn't live on your computer. It's the same thing. Everything that we remember in this frontal lobe is what we need now. And just because you may not remember something doesn't mean that it's left your brain. Literally, from the time that you're born, everything is still stored in your brain. You may not be able to recall it because it's not necessary and it's not on this front receptor. Okay, here's my bottom line. Every time you go to this negative thought, you have the opportunity to rewire your own thoughts. But there has to be something like the delete, delete that you say out loud, or that you would hit the delete, delete button on your computer. There has to be something to break that negative thought. And by literally, audibly saying out loud, delete, delete, you are starting the process of rewiring your brain. You're starting the process of not allowing or accepting that horrific negative thought you have about yourself. So for me personally, when I have been so like loathing my own body and looking at my legs going, yeah, Martha, anytime you eat or drink off plan, it goes right to your legs. And that's a true story. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be like that permanently. So when I start having that negative thought, I literally go delete, delete, and immediately I can accept the truth. Martha, get back on plan. 3 days or a week from now, you're going to love your legs again. So your mindset that I want you to think about this week, because I have a feeling based on some of the messages I've gotten today, that some of you have been off plan yesterday, maybe the whole weekend. And we know a bunch of you have kind of been living in the gray for what? What week are we on? 7, 8 with COVID. So if you have those negative self-destructive thoughts that are going on in your head right now, I literally, the moment that you have them, I want you to say, delete, delete. The more often you do it, the more you start laughing at yourself when you say delete, delete. Because you know wherever you are right now, if you've been off plan, it's temporary, friends. It's temporary. If you feel swollen in your midsection, your legs, your face, your fingers, whatever, it's the moment you get on plan, the moment you're going to start seeing visible and feel these changes. So this week, the words are delete, delete. As soon as you have that negative thought, start rewiring the neurotransmitters in your brain by saying delete, delete. Because that thought that you just had is not true. It is not 100% permanent. And you should never be talking to yourself the way that you're talking to yourself. All right? Delete, delete all this week. Practice it. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Bye.